we were asking for questions, so we had someone that brought this question up, and it's, did you know that most domestic air freight moves on trucks? It's interesting to think about with air freight, because with air freight, we've termed air freight by nature is freight on an airplane. So then the question comes up, well, why do they call it air freight if it's moving on a truck? So the air freight oftentimes comes into the country on an international flight. Obviously, when we think of air freight, we think of airplanes. And then with a lot of freight and transportation, we're thinking more of a truck. What happens? How does air freight end up on a truck? To answer that question, did you know, or why is this going on? Well, the freight is going to be picked up or delivered via truck. So let's just take at your house, for instance. Let's say that you've got a house here and you are wanting to send things to a friend in Nevada. Well, obviously, an airplane's not gonna land at your house. What you typically are gonna have is some kind of truck swing by, pick up the package. Oftentimes, these are gonna be a smaller delivery type truck, and then it's gonna take it to the airport to go on a flight. That here again, we have another truck that oftentimes is involved with the delivery. And so in between, we potentially have the airplane moving the freight. You can see how this would occur on a domestic level with a smaller package, or it can occur, this could be a warehouse, and this could be another warehouse. This could be a manufacturing facility. It really doesn't matter. Your first and final mile is often gonna be a truck or something similar to a truck. Truck, a van. So you have your first and final mile of most air freight is actually moving on a truck. We have a lot of freight that we call air freight that's also being touched with trucks. That is kind of an interesting dilemma, and most people wouldn't know that a lot of your air freight actually has trucks involved with the air freight. If you got any more, we'd love to answer the questions. If you see something that's interesting to you in transportation, or you want to comment at the bottom, we'd appreciate it.